Hey guys, we are about to answer a lot of questions in this video concerning the crypto market. So we're going to start with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the entire crypto market. The question is going to be, what is next for the crypto market? At the moment, Ethereum has pumped to the all-time high. Bitcoin is also doing so well, but just yesterday, we started experiencing crash across Bitcoin, ETH, and so many other coins, and it affected the entire crypto space. So the question is going to be, what's going to be next for crypto markets? Because I want to unfold a lot of information in this live. I'll talk about our expectation in the month of September, because usually most persons says September is always red for the crypto market, and people are expecting that it's also going to be red for crypto market next month. So we're going to talk about that in this video and tell you what I think about the crypto market and where we are headed to in this bull market. So if that is what you're interested in, then make sure you smash that like button right now. It is very, very important before we get started. So let's get a lot of persons to smash the like button right now before we get started. Yeah. So first off, before we get started, let's start off with where are you joining this live stream from? So for me, I'm joining from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So go to the comment section and tell me where you're joining from. I'm going to read out some of your comments. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Adebolu. Greetings to you. Emmy Dollars, nice to be here. Yeah, nice to be here too. Yeah, Crypto Analyze. Good afternoon. So, I'm going to expose a lot of things in this video about what I think about the crypto market. And in the next in the next 1 minute, we should get started right away. So we have a lot of persons flooding in the comment section already. Emmy Dollars from Kogi State. The next person is joining from Port Harcourt. Welcome to those in Port Harcourt. The next person is Chisom from Asaba. Yeah, welcome Chisom. UG Academy from Port Harcourt. Osun State, Kwara State, Port Harcourt. So it seems like we have a lot of Port Harcourt people today. Delta, H Crypto from Kano. Port Harcourt, Gambia. I can't pronounce your name. Bukaba. I don't know if that's the pronunciation of your name, but welcome from Gambia. Lagos, Meduguri, Enugu, Ghana, and so many other states. Kenya. Yeah, I was in Kenya last month. Port Harcourt. So I have a lot of persons from Port Harcourt, Kano, Enugu. So I can't mention everyone, but we need to get straight to the business of today. And yeah, welcome guys. If you're just joining the live, then welcome to the live officially. Make sure you smash that like button. It is very important so that YouTube is going to show this video to a lot of persons. We want a lot more persons to join this live right away. So smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, why are you not subscribed to this channel? Give me one reason why you're not subscribed to this channel. You need to do that right now because we are putting out premium content on this channel. So you have to do that to assist us grow faster. Thank you so much as you do that. So let's get started right away with the video. So I guess you guys can see my screen. If you can see my screen, go to the chat box and write I can see your screen, or just write hi. Write hi on the chat box and let's get started right away. Okay. Oh, very well. Okay. Okay, so I can get a lot of highs. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Yeah. Let's get that started right away. All right. First off, I'm going to go with looking at the charts from the crypto market. This is BTC USDT, and this is the weekly time frame. So I'm trying to look out for what do we expect for the market. First off, if you remember when we had this huge run earlier towards end of last year, we had this huge run that broke above this area here, and then we went up to as high as $108,000. And after some time, we started having some downtrend, and I think most persons were panicking that the market is actually over, bull market is over, we are going to 50K. And I did a live on this channel telling you guys that we are most likely going to bounce off from here, and we did bounce off from here, which is the 74K region. We bounced off, and then what you saw is we had a new high printed at 110K, and slight retracement to 99,000, and next went to $124,000, and that is the current all-time high for the crypto for Bitcoin at the moment. But what you can see right here is the moment you got to $124,000, it's been 3 weeks of red candle, which has taken us from $124,000 down to $111,000. So the question is, are we going lower from here or we are going to go higher? I'm going to talk about that in a jiffy, but let's look at for Ethereum, which is one important chart recently. So first off, we recently broke the previous all-time highs. That was last week, and if you look at the chart here, we did break above it, and we got to $4,944. And after that, we just had this red candle. I'm going to reduce this to daily time frame so we're able to see this clearly. So if you look at this very well, you're going to see we just broke this all-time high yesterday or 3 days ago or thereabouts, 2 days ago, yeah. And then we also broke it again higher to 4,900. And then what you're going to see is we started retracing down to 4,005 just this morning. So where do I really think Ethereum is going to go to in the coming days or in the coming months? Considering that when you look at the Bitcoin monthly returns, it tells you that the month of August is always red for the crypto market. If you look right here, the month of September, I mean, because August is also very red for the crypto market. In the last 4 years, it has been red. It has been red August for the crypto market, for Bitcoin specifically. And even the other ones has been a lot of red. On an average, we actually get plus 1% every August, and then the median of minus 7.49%. So this August is yet to close because today is 25th of August, and then we are already sitting at minus 33.9%. So do you think we're going to go higher to, let's say, minus 5% or minus 7%, just like we had in the previous years, where 13%, 11%, 8%, and now, so it seems like you're going to do something like minus 5% or minus 6%. So it's just going to be like it's going in this particular flow. Well, we're going to find out in this live, and that is why you have to watch this live to the very end if you want to find out some of those details. Now, one important chart here is September. September for the crypto market is also very red. On an average, we experience minus 3.77% and then a median of minus 4.35%. When you look at the last 2 years, it's been green for September, and the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years has been red for September. And you can even see the one in 2014 and 2013 was also red. So on an average, September is actually a very bad month for crypto. September and August is actually one of the worst months for crypto. So where are we going to go to in September? Because that's what most persons are asking me right now. Do you really think this is going to be, we're going to have huge sell-off in September? Do you really think that's going to happen? Or do you really think market is going to be green in the month of September? I'm going to address that, but I want to take it bit by bit so we're able to understand all of these things what I'm saying in this video, because I still have a lot more I'm going to talk about. I'm going to analyze CoinMarketCap, look at for top coins, and tell you what I think about some of the top coins and all of that. For those looking for coins to actually invest, I think it's actually very appropriate you watch this video if you want to find out all of those informations. So let's start off with what do I think for the month of August. First, we are currently at minus 3.9%. With the way it is right now, I think we might most likely close on red. Let's say within this 3.9 to like minus 5%, we might most likely experience a red for the month of August. Now, for the month of September, is it going to be red or green? One data I want you to look at for is 2021. 2021 September was actually red with minus 7.03%. Let's look at for 2017. 2017 September was minus 7.44%. Let's go to 2013. 2013 was minus 1.76%. So why did I point out this 2021, 2017, and 2013? That is because of the 4-year cycle. Now, usually after we experience the Bitcoin halving after every 4 years, the next year preceding the Bitcoin halving is actually the most bullish years for crypto. We had the Bitcoin halving in 2012. 2013, we had the full Bitcoin crypto rally. 2016, we had the Bitcoin halving. 2017, we had full rally for the crypto market. 2021, which was the one I was very much involved with, we had Bitcoin having in 2020. And 2021, we had a full-blown crypto market. Like the entire market actually exploded. And now, 2014, we just experienced the Bitcoin halving. So we are expecting that 2025 is going to be the most bullish year for after Bitcoin halving, based on this sequence we've been following. So if you are following this sequence, it simply tells us that 2021 was red, 2017 was red, 2013 was red. So most likely we should expect another red in the month of September. Now, one important data I want you guys to note is, aside from these years where we have after the years preceding the Bitcoin halving, 2030, 2023, and 2024 has somehow been green. And that could be because of a lot of factors, which I won't be able to cover in this video. But it's also giving us a signal that most likely we might experience a green September. Because one thing I know about this market is whenever someone thinks the market is going to go in this direction, the market just does the opposite thing. Everyone is expecting that, yes, because the years preceding the Bitcoin halving, September is usually red, we should experience red month for September. But the thing is, the whales, institutions, market makers, everyone, these big guys, they actually know that we are watching some of these things and they might want to make us buy higher. Because, mind you, October is the best month for crypto. If you look right here, it's almost like green throughout, just two reds since 2013, just two reds. The rest has been green, and the numbers has been actually great. 28%, 10%, 39%. I mean, 28% for Bitcoin translates to 200%, 500% for many altcoins. That is when Bitcoin dominance is actually dropping. 28% here is going to give, most coins are going to get like 200%, up to like 500% for just this 28% move. So sometimes most persons might be thinking 10% move is not really big, but in relative to altcoins, it's actually very, very huge. And that is why we had a very big rally last year, October, November. We had a very big rally. And just imagine, most of the coins only moved up. Bitcoin only moved up by 10% in October. November was just by 37%. But altcoins ran 10x, 20x, 100x in that same month. So now I'm able to establish this factor. I think I'm not able to tell you for fact that September is going to either be red or green, but whatever ends in this month of August is going to influence what we are going to have in the month of September. If this month closes on a very huge red, let's say -5% or -6% or something, then I think September might most likely be bullish. And that is because I'm going against my 2021, 2017, 2013 thesis, telling you that it's going to go against it and then we are going to have a green September. I might be wrong, I might be right, but at this point, nobody actually knows. Maybe a few persons knows, the guys controlling the market or something, they might have an idea of what is going to happen in September. But there are a few things why I think September might also be green. And that's one reason is this. Fed meeting in September. I'm going to show you the date. Fed meeting in September is 17th of September. On the 17th of September, Fed meeting, and that is when it is expected that they're going to cut rates. Everyone has been expecting rate cuts to have happened before now, but that is when there's expectation for rate cut to happen. Now, when this rate cut actually happens, liquidity would actually flow into the market, and that is when I think most coins are going to start running. And that is why I'm not taking out the fact that September might be bullish, because there are two scenarios that's playing in my head. The first scenario is beginning of September, first week and second week of September is red, and then after rate has been cut, then we have market start running instantly, and then is able to erase all of the reds we've experienced in the first week and second week of September. So let's say on an average, we end up being like plus 2% green for the month of September for Bitcoin. That is the first thesis I'm seeing. The second thesis I'm seeing is because a lot of persons knows that there's going to be rate cut in the month of September, what they could do is there could be buy the rumor, sell the news event where market starts running in the beginning of September, and then later, when rate has been cut by 17th of September, we start having the market start tanking, and then we end up having a red month of September. And that is why it's not really factual as to whether the month is going to be red or it's going to be green. But there are a few things you can actually do if you want to protect yourself very well in this particular market. Now, what are you expected to do if you want to protect yourself? There are a few things. The first thing is, if you really think the month of September is going to be red, best thing you can do is to start de-risking some of your positions right now. What is de-risking? What do I mean by de-risking? It's simple. Let's say your portfolio is $1,000, for instance, and you expect that September is going to be red. The few thing you can do is you can start selling some of your position. That is, if you're not on loss on some of them, you can start selling them, because if September turns out to be red, then most likely that your $1,000 right now would most likely be like $700 or $600. So you want to protect yourself ahead of that dip and be able to have some capital for you to buy it into the market, to buy the dip, right? So what you're going to be doing right now is de-risking your position, selling out some of your coins that are on profit, taking out some profit. It might not be the entire $1,000. It could be $500. It could be $400. It could be $300. Take out some money, and then by next month when the market is crashing, then you put in those money that we are able to get in at cheaper prices as against what it is right now. That is the first thing you can do if you want to protect yourself ahead of next month. That is in case we have a dump next month. That is one way you can protect yourself. Another thing I'm going to say is this. You can also choose to say, okay, I can't tell for facts that the market is going to be red or green in the month of September. So therefore, I'm just going to hold my bag, and I'm going to hold them, and with the expectation that even though they go down by October, which is always a green month for crypto, my bag should start pumping again. The choice is yours. It's either you want to take out some money and then be able to put in later on when the market starts going down, or you hold till October, November, and then by then your position should be up on profit already. That is in case you actually bought, you had good entry points for this market for most of the coins you're holding. But if you don't have good entry points, I really don't know what to say to you. But I mean, again, I'm also looking at the chart. Why you think some of the coins why you think the next month might be red? That is what some persons think about the market. Why they think next month is going to be red? The truth of the matter is Bitcoin could be red and many coins are not going to be red. And it's because of a few factors. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to pick a coin, for instance. Let's go to desk screen now. Let me pick out the coin. Let me just pick a random coin. I'm just seeing CR7 coin. Has it launched? I'm not sure this is his coin. This is 7 months ago, so he hasn't launched the coin. Let's pick out Wizard, for instance, which is one coin I actually added recently. Now, if you look at this coin called Wizard, one thing you have to understand is this. If a particular coin is oversold, like very much oversold, there are chances that even though Bitcoin is dumping, it might not be dumping. I'm not saying it's going to be the same for this particular coin. Let me share my screen. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to be the same for this particular coin. No, I'm not saying so. But what I'm trying to say is, once some coins, I'm going to give another example. Let me look for a coin that has dumped really, really bad. I'm going to pick Creo. Let me check this one out. I'm not sure this is the right chart. Okay. So if you look at this coin now, what you notice is this coin crashed from $81 million to $2.3 million. This is pretty much like the bottom of this coin. This is pretty much like the bottom of this coin. I mean, if you look at this coin very well, where do you think this coin is going to go to? Is it going to go to 500K again, or like where? It's been in a steady downtrend for the past how many months? So charts like this, for instance, I'm not saying you should go and buy this coin, but what I'm saying is charts like this might most likely not drop a lot if Bitcoin actually crashes in the month of September, because they've crashed so much that even if let me try to add RSI, and let's look at RSI, Relative Strength Index. If you look at RSI, this is on the oversold region. Like it's sitting at the oversold region. Where do you expect this to go? I mean, there are chances that it goes to $2 million or 1.5 million, but that's not a lot of dump compared to what some of you are actually expecting for the month of September. So let's say your coin, the coin you're holding looks like this. Would you be selling your coin just because you're scared that the market is going to dump? I would say no. And the reason is simple. Where am I going to see this thing dump more to? There's no data that shows me that this thing is going to. Yes, there are chances that okay, the bottom here is like 536K, but there are a lot of factors you have to put into place why this coin might not even dump to that region. First, there is staking in this coin because I understand, I know the project very well. There's staking in this coin where most of the supply is actually staked. A lot of the supplies are actually staked. Not all of the tokens are also unlocked. So you have to put all of these things into perspective. And then that tells you that there are chances that this is not going to go lower to even this $1 million or thereabout. But even if you want to go low, it could go to, let's say, 1.8, $1.5 million. Not a lot of drawdown from where it is at 2.3 million. Let's take it down to 1.5 million. That's about 30% drawdown from here. Not as huge as some of you actually expected. So if you're holding a coin that the chart looks very much dead like this, there is pretty much no chance that the coin is going to go lower. And for that kind of coin, I won't be selling it. And the reason is simple. Where else does the coin want to dump to? I mean, it could go 10%, 20%. There are chances that it might not even dump. Because all of these things is because people are choosing to sell their token because the market is dumping. Something like this, a lot of persons are on huge loss. They wouldn't want to sell. So this tells you that not all of the coins are going to experience this huge drawdown some of you are thinking about. So if you're managing your portfolio, you have to manage it appropriately if you think the market is going to be red or green next month. I spoke with a friend of mine this morning, and he told me that next month is going to be green. And the reason for that is we have some big news next month, and he doesn't think we're going to go lower just because of those news. We really can't tell if that's going to happen. All we are just going to do is to be cautious and watch the market. Mind you, if you're choosing to de-risk your position to sell some of your coins right now on either profit or maybe slight loss, remember that there are chances that if next month is actually green, then most likely you are going to be buying your coins at higher prices. So the choices are yours. Are you going to hold for the month of September? And in case it goes down, you're able to hold throughout that month of September to experience the drawdown. And then later on, you hold to see what's going to happen next in the month of October. Or you sell in the month of September and the coin starts pumping in that month of September. And then you end up buying higher. I think it's basically your choice. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do about that. You have to make the decision because at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen next month. We are only speculating. But if you look at the chart, aside from looking at the chart, I think most likely we are going to have a bounce from this region here. What we experienced yesterday, if you look at this chart properly, we had this huge candle down to $110,000, and then we bounced off instantly. This is actually market makers and exchanges trying to liquidate people. But what you're going to notice is we've not been able to break this region below this region. We've always bounced on this region here. Okay, so I'm going to pick out the rectangle this time around, and let's try to look at this chart properly. So I'm going to take out this other one. All right, so the reason why I used a rectangle is to be able to accommodate this region, and also this region. So this is pretty much like strong support for Bitcoin right now, and we don't want to see it close below this region before this week ends, because if that happens, then most likely there are chances that we might start seeing 107K and even 105K. These are two scenarios, two areas we might most likely go if it breaks below this region. So we don't want to see the market close below this region this week. If you're able to stay on this above this region this week, then most likely there are chances that we are going to bounce off from here and start going back up. But I'm not going to take out that this region here looks kind of like the next support for Bitcoin, which is 107K. And then this region here looks like a little bit of support too, which is around 105K. Then 102K is also another interesting region to look out for. I'm going to take this a little bit down. So let's call it 101 to 102K within that region. Is also another good region to look out for. And then this region here. So 97K. So are there chances that we get to 97K next month? It all depends, but I don't think we're going to get here. Personally, I don't think we're going to get here. And that's because I've looked at the chart and it tells me that for me to explain that, it's going to take probably the next 5 minutes, and that's going to prolong this. But I personally don't think we are going to see 97K or below 100K next month, no matter what the dump is going to look like. Again, we have to hold this region here. We have to try to not go below 110K. If we go below 110K, then there are chances that we might see 107. And if it doesn't hold, then most likely we could see 105 and then 101K and down like that. But I expect that this is going to hold and then we are going to start climbing up again. And most likely we are going to break above these all-time highs. But it all depends on what the market does next month. And hopefully this actually holds. I might decide to take a little gamble at this region and they have a slight stop loss, let's say at 109K or 108K or thereabout, to target back to the all-time highs, just in case market is actually very good. Now let's look at Ethereum, which is one interesting chart right here. Ethereum first off had this run to the all-time high, and then we are currently sitting at 4,600. Yesterday we went to 4,500. So where do we think Ethereum is going to go? I'm going to draw out some key support and resistance region. Just going to draw some key support region. So I'm looking at this region here first. This is somewhere around $4,000. Man, that's going to be brutal for Ethereum to drop to $4,000. But there are chances that it could actually drop to $4,000. That is in case next month is actually bearish, then most likely we could retest this region and have something like this. You move down here and then we'll bounce off here and start going back up. Aside from that, I pretty much can't pinpoint any other region aside from like 4,005, which is going to look like kind of like a psychological region. 4,005, which is not really kind of like a support or resistance stuff, but like which is not kind of like a support stuff, but more or less a psychological region over support region. But we're just going to take it out of the chart, and I'm just going to leave this to see what actually happens. Do we have this breakdown to this region and then we bounce off instantly and go back to the all-time high? We most likely are going to find out if that is going to happen. But that depends on if the month of September is red. If it's not red, then most likely we should see new highs that should take us around above 5,200, because that's my first target for Ethereum in the coming weeks or in the coming months. Maybe like the next 1 or 2 months, we should most likely go above 5K. We are supposed I don't know why we are not even above 5K at this point, because Ethereum has been lagging for so long, but like the past few weeks has been kind of like a good run for Ethereum from 1,001 sometime in April down to almost $5,000, 4,936 in the past 4 months, which is actually very great for Ethereum. I'm skeptical about what's going to happen for the coming months, but let's look out for other things, and let's look out for other things in the market. I'm going to go to CoinMarketCap. And let's look at some of our favorite coins. It's funny why XRP is not getting a lot of it. I mean, it was when I saw it last, it was at $3. Let me check the chart right now. I'm going to put it on weekly, on daily time frame. So on daily time frame, we have this support here. Which is currently where it is sitting at. We did have this drawdown to $2.8, and then this year to 2.6, but this lows was quite higher than this lows, making this a higher low. So if we're able to stay above this and then start going up from here, then most likely XRP, I think XRP have a better chances of going higher than even ETH and maybe Bitcoin. There are more chances. I think Bitcoin also have good chances of going up from here because of the region where it's sitting at. But XRP, I'm looking at the chart, it looks very sweet at this region because this is a very strong support for it. But just in case it's not able to hold there, most likely it should be able to hold there. I can't tell if it's going to hold, but if it's not able to hold there, then my most likely target these lows around 2.7 to 2.7 to 2.6 region, around this area here. Most likely we could target this 2.7 region. But I think it's most likely it's going to bounce off from here. This looks like it's going to bounce from here, although this has not held pretty well previously. Let me check it on weekly time frame and see what it shows over there. Okay, so we had this huge up, down, up. So there are chances that we are most likely going to bounce off from here. We've probably experienced the correction we wanted to experience down to 2.6, and then most likely we should be going back up from here. But I think the coming days is going to tell what's going to happen in the market in the coming days. So most likely, let's see what's going to happen in the coming days for the market. But if you have questions so far, you can actually ask your questions because I've been doing a lot of talking. But if you have questions, you can ask your questions. I'll try as much as possible to actually answer your question. I'll try as much as possible. I'm getting a couple of questions here. So let's see what happens. Let's look out for other coins. BNB also had huge run recently, breaking an all-time high of $870. Right now it's sitting at $859. It's not really experiencing a lot of this drawdown. I think Solana did. I don't know why Solana is getting most of the heat. Last 24 hours is down 4%. So every time we're having drawdown, I think Solana actually gets impacted the most. I really can't tell why that is happening always. But also, if you look at the last 7 days, also like kind of like the best performer among these top coins over here. Well, we get to see what is going to happen. So let's analyze the market properly and let's look out for some of you looking at to buy some coins right now. Where should be your kind of like your favorite entry point for some of these coins? If you have any coin in the comment section, you can write that in the comment section. If you have any question or any coin you want me to look at specifically right now, I'm just going to look at the chart and tell you what I think about the chart and where it is going to. I'm seeing a couple of persons talking about different coins already, but I'm going to check that out when I get a lot of persons already. One coin that has also been underperforming is Avalanche. I really don't know why AVAX has not been performing so well compared to other coins. What's these lines here? Wow, this was lines I drew years back. Okay, so I'm gonna, if you look at this very well, when you compare since April of 2020, since April of this year, Ethereum has done crazy numbers. But when you compare that with AVAX hasn't really had huge upside. It's barely up 57%, whereas ETH is up like huge size already. From April for ETH, ETH has gone up by 257% already, but AVAX is trading lower despite a few factors. But one thing I'm going to tell you is the market cycle, money flow cycle, money flow. I'm going to show you that chart. I've for the past like two lives I've had, I think I've shown that live that this money flow a couple of times. So let me show you to you guys again one more time, and let me explain to you why coins like ETH is outperforming XRP and XRP, AVAX, and the rest of them. So first off, if you look at this very well, this is how money flows, right? First, it goes into Bitcoin, and then we have a huge Bitcoin rally. Then next, after that, we have money flow to Ethereum, and that is why we have this huge rally from April to here, giving us almost a 300% for Ethereum. Now, when that is happening, a few of the coins actually get impacted. XRP was moving very well. BNB was also moving very well. Solana was a little bit lagging, but there's going to be a phase for large caps. This is when Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and large cap are going parabolic. And that is the next phase where I'm looking out for. First, I expected that we broke the previous all-time, which we've done. I also want to see that Ethereum goes above $5,200, $5,000 at least in the coming days or coming weeks. And then most likely we'll start experiencing money flow from Ethereum flow to large caps like AVAX, DOGE, Tron, Solana, BNB, XRP, and many other ones. That is when we are going to start seeing some of these coins moving parabolic. Now, note that when those coins are moving, doesn't mean Ethereum is not going to be moving, because if you look right, it tells you Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. Sorry, for the third phase, which is Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin, and large caps are also going parabolic. So Ethereum is going to continue outperforming Bitcoin while these large caps are pumping. We haven't really experienced it, although we've seen like some of these coins moving, but like not as much as we expected compared to the move with Ethereum and a few coins like that. So I personally think for those that have been saying like it's over for the crypto market and all of that, it's not over. It's far from being over. I mean, we are just this is the early stage of it. We're just about to get into the next phase of it before we experience the full hot season. So in the coming weeks, most likely September and October, I expect that large caps, most likely from next month, I expect the large caps start moving. That is in situations where the month of September turns out to be green for Bitcoin and Ethereum, then most likely we should start seeing large caps start moving. Solana is going to move. At least Solana, I really can't tell why Solana is even going. It's not really impressing me so much. For those that don't even understand, I'm a huge Solana fan. Like, I prefer Solana. I like Solana so much, but I can't really explain why we are not even close to all-time high. All-time high was somewhere around close to $300. This is all-time high here. I'm going to double check to see that that's the correct all-time high. Let me use the weekly time frame to see something. So this is the all-time high, and Solana is still 33% down from the all-time high. It's not up. It still has to pump 33% from here for it to get. So it still has to pump over 51% from here for it to get back to the all-time high. So when is that going to happen? Because I really need that to happen, because that is when some of you that have been looking at some of your favorite meme coins on Solana, and then you're saying it's not really moving. But when we start having Solana moving parabolic in the parabolic mode, then most likely the liquidity is going to flow to some of your favorite meme coins, and then they're going to start pumping very hard. So I expect for the month of September, we'll start seeing coins like Solana. That is in cases of where the market is green. We'll most likely start seeing AVAX, Solana, Cardano, some of these coins start outperforming Bitcoin, or maybe doing very well. Not really outperforming. It could also outperform it. SHU is one coin that's also drawn my attention. I mean, I've been in SHU from the very first day when they started doing their testnet airdrop and all those stuff and all of that. And SHU is one project I really like what they're doing. Let me look at their chart and let's even analyze what we think. But first, let me look at where do I think AVAX is going to go from here. In this bull market, most likely we should there are chances that we are going to go higher in the coming weeks. Most likely it's not negotiable. I mean, it's underperforming, so I expect that it should start going higher. My first target is going to be this 55. I mean, $55 looks very small for AVAX. I personally think we should most likely see this all-time high in this bull market. That is before this bull market ends. That's not going to be this year, like throughout the bull market, because for me, I think the bull market is going to extend to next year. I expect that we should most likely go above $100, at least above $100 in this bull market, and it's currently sitting at $24. So there's a huge upside for it right here. There's a very huge upside. I think AVAX is going to have, but I'm not holding anyone for now. I'm not holding anyone, just to be clear. I'm just trying to tell you what I think about the market without sentiment or anything. But let's look at for SU. SU also was one coin that performed really well last year, and we've had this drawdown to $1.7, went up to 4.2, down to 2.3, and then back went up. So this right here is looking like, I'm gonna draw what I'm seeing here. Okay, so let me draw this back again. So we have this, and then this. So most likely we should expect this. We should take us higher. So what am I seeing? If you look right here, it had this move to the upside, then a downtrend. But what you're going to notice is this lows there was not lower than this. So this is a higher low. And then after the drawdown went up higher than this highs here. So this is a higher high. This right here is a higher high. So what we expect is SU to put in a lower highs here, and then we're expecting to go higher than this previous highs here, which should take us higher to like 4.9. We repeat the process again and then go above this $5. So most likely I expect that SU is going to run in the coming days. I mean, I could literally tell you where I think we could. I'm just going to pick out this Fib region, Fibonacci retracement, and let's take it to the highs. And this actually bottomed at 0.7 region. So I'm gonna use this Fib region again, Fibonacci retracement, and then let's look out for the 0.7 region, which I doubt it would also get to 0. This is 0.7, which is somewhere around $2.7. But most likely, I'm looking at 0.7 to 0.6 region, which I think is the best entry point for SU. We most likely could see SU drop to $3.1 down to $2.7, and then if we have a drop down to this region here, the interesting thing is if we have a drop down to this region here, we are still going to go high. You're still going to go higher, and then have something similar, and then probably go higher, create a new all-time high, and then repeat this process till it gets exhausted, and then we'll have a change of character, and then we start going down. So it's that easy. First, we most likely could see a drawdown to this region here based on the fact that it has always respected 0.7. Let me see if it did respect it here. It did come close to 0.7, but it didn't come there completely. And that is why, if you look very well, what I did was I drew this from this Fib region down to here. What I did, I picked out 0.6 to 0.7 region, which is the best entry point for me. It's going to be around there. From this 0.6 region, which is $3.1 to $2.7. So in case you're looking to add it for this bull market, then most likely, I personally think this region here should be your favorite, your best entry point. Then most likely we'll see something like this, and then we keep going higher. So this is what I think for SU. This is personally what my overview for SU. But there are chances that we keep going higher from here. It could happen, but in cases where market is bearish, we might most likely see it retracement close to this region here, at least to $3 to $3.1, and it'll start going back up. So it's currently at $3.4. Not a lot of drawdown, just in case you're looking at it. From here down to $3.2 is a barely 10% move. I mean, if you can take the risk, you can actually buy at these prices here. But just in case you don't want to, you're looking for the best entry, then I think here is the best entry for you, at least at $3.1. Or you can DCA, you buy some here. If it goes lower to this region, then I think it's good to actually add to your position and then you take it higher. All right, so let me look at your questions now, and let's handle some of your questions. I'm going to start off. First off, I'm seeing someone that's saying we like to interview you because my fans asked me to interview you. Okay, that's fine. Just send me a message on Twitter. That's where I can easily see your message. Any other place, might most likely not see your message. So check my Twitter account and try to send me a message. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, someone is asking me to do Bao. This is actually a meme coin. So it's actually a meme coin, which I do hold, but let's look at it. So if you look at Bao, even though I still hold it, I had this trend line here. I knew it was going to go lower, at least to test this region here. This here looks kind of like a very strong support for it. This region where it's sitting at currently. And if for any reason is able, if it breaks below this, then there are chances that it's close to over for it. So we don't want to see it break below this region here. Yeah, this trend line was one I didn't want it to break, and I was watching it closely for it not to break it. But unfortunately, it did break it, and that actually signaled that we most likely are going to test this this week here, and that is why I knew it was going to come down here. You can also you can see the trend. I did have the trend line even before this live. Okay, so if the team members of Bao are watching me, they should make sure to hold this chart above this region. Do not let this thing crash below this region, because I might even cut my loss if it goes below this region. I mean, if it goes below this region, I most likely will cut my loss, because there is technically no data right here to show you where we are going to. I mean, this is going to lead you back to to the beginning of this coin. So there's technically no data. I also think most likely around this region too, where this was the first all time, which is somewhere around 400 and something K. So if they're watching me, if Bao team is watching this live stream, because I did see the person leading the CTO, I did see him on this live. Make sure Bao is not breaking below this region. I mean, I've talked about it a couple of times. I've done the little I could to give it its publicity, even without any person paying me or asking me to take anything. I've talked about it a couple of times on my own. So now that's the best I could do, but I don't want to see it break below this region. I don't want to see it break below this region, because there is technically no data right here to say there's a support down here or here. If it breaks below this, then most likely I might be also cutting my loss, because I'm not here to lose money. So most likely we start seeing it bounce. I mean, this is a good entry point, just in case it's able to bounce off from here. This is going to be a very good entry point for any person trying to enter. But I don't want to see it break below this. If it breaks below this, then I mean, you can cut your loss for Bao. That is what I think about it. That support might serve as liquidity for that OB, which is other block. I can't remember the coin you're talking about. I wish I saw your message quite earlier. Okay, someone is asking what is all time high. Okay, they did get an answer. That's good. Someone is saying Bao all time high is 7 million. I mean, it's not really important. All time high sometimes might not be important when you look at this chart like this. All time high was around 7.7 million actually, which is correct. But we want to see this, at least hold this region. Hold this region for your dear life if you want to survive. There are still chances it go lower and then start pumping again. No, this is meme coin, and you wouldn't do all of the technicals on a coin like this, which is barely 3 months. This might not work very well, but to some extent, you can see that this trend line did work. It did break this trend line, retested above it, retested the trend line, started going lower, which was very much expected. So I just wanted to hold this support. It could still go lower and go higher. I don't know. That's meme coin for you, actually. Someone is asking my trading strategy. I basically combine different trading strategies. So first I use liquidity trading concept. I also try out SMC, which I think liquidity trading concept is just part of SMC actually. And then I still use basic support and resistance, trend line, like as basic as you think. Trend line, on some of those stuff, I use them many of the times and they work very well. So it depends on how you apply them. What if Powell becomes hawkish again on 17th? That would be crazy for the market. It's going to be very, very red for the market if that's going to happen. But that's going to actually mean that the month of September ends up being red, and then October we most likely are going to see some good news, because I think the next Fed meeting is going to be in October 29th. So maybe things are going to start working very well. But I just hope next month the next meeting is not going to be hawkish. Check chart for BNB, likely to drop to $810. So let me check BNB. Let's see. Okay. Because we've hit this all-time high, and there's not a lot of information as to where you think this is going to come down to. Because I mean, a huge support here is somewhere around $668. Then I think another one somewhere around this region, $741, and then there could be another one here. Let me switch to the daily time frame. Okay, so we are having this. Okay, so most likely we are trying to see a chart that doesn't break below this low. So anything that stays above this low, is still going to take us higher. So first area I'm going to be looking at for is this area here, which is 850. It did bounce off from there. Today. So that's the first area I'm looking at for. So I expect it to hold this area. If it doesn't, then there are chances this could serve as kind of like a support, this area here. I mean, if you switch this to like 4 hours, you would see that those areas are very, very clear. You can see it. So I'm able to spot it even without using smaller time frames. So you can see if here doesn't hold, then most likely we could test 800 and close to $820. And then there's still another chance that we come down here, which is almost close to $800. So these are like areas I'm going to be looking at for BNB. So if it doesn't hold there, most likely we might test this region here, which is around $818. If it doesn't, then we might see this area here, which is somewhere around $795. And then there are still some lows down these areas here, which is around $746, and even here at 730. So let's hope that this is not going to go as low as you think, as low as possible. But most likely, even if I'm not saying it's going to do something like this, but let's say we had something like this. We don't want to see it. Let's just say it stays within this range, and then most likely we'll just have this blow up again back to the top, or have something like a breakout, retest, and then a continuation upward. But there are still chances that it still touches here and then continue here and all of that. So it all depends for BNB. But these are likely areas where it might touch if there are chances that it starts coming down more. All right. I've done analysis for Baobab already. So I think some buys are coming in. So you guys, they should buy more. Should you advise us to buy WLFI? That's World Liberty Finance, owned by Donald Trump and his children and maybe like his team members on the 1st of September. Personally, I'm not buying it. I'm just going to be sincere to you. I'm not buying. Is there a reason why I'm not buying? There's obviously no reason for me, but I'm not just buying. I can't tell you why, but I'm not just buying. Someone is any information about MAGA coin? I don't know any coin like Maga coin. Someone is asking for Doge. So we're having a lot of requests here. Damn, that's a lot too. I'm not sure I can cover everything in this video, but let's look out for Doge. I like this thing. Anytime I open, I'm gonna refresh it because of the purpose of that Doge that came out there. I like it every time it comes out. Doge. I'm gonna open it again. Just watch that spot. Watch if it's gonna come out. It didn't come out. Oh, I did like it. Anytime I open TradingView and I search for Doge, I usually see that stuff. It come out here and dance and go back. It's very, very funny to me. Doge has also been underperforming compared to so many other coins. Okay, so for Doge, I think there are chances that Doge gets back to all-time highs. Like it's obviously gonna get back. Man, it's not obviously. It depends because this is, yeah, there are chances that it goes to all-time high. This bull market 0.7, which is gonna be over like a 300% or thereabout. But if you look at the chart properly, what we're having here is kind of like, I'm gonna pick out. So we had this move to the upside, and then down, higher, and then we are trying to pick a region here. So let's see if we are going to start going higher. But if you look right here, this lows here, this low here was higher than this low. So this was a higher low. This low also here was higher than this low here. So we don't want to see it go below this low at 0.18. I don't want to first of all see it go below this low. That's where I'm going to start getting scared for Dodge. But I mean, there are so areas. I think most of the coins are sitting at pretty much good support areas. If you look at some of these coins, let's look at the support for. Let's look at the first support I'm seeing for Dodge, which is currently where it's sitting at. I'm probably going to reduce this to smaller time frame, so you see it very well. I'm going to bring this a little bit down. Okay, let me put it on weekly time frame and let's see that it corresponds properly this side. So I'm personally going to use a rectangle to represent this better. Okay, so this is kind of like a support for Dodge, and we don't want to see it break below this area. But like, I also, even if it breaks below this area, I don't want to see it go below these lows. If it's able to stay above this low, then most likely we should see new highs above 2.8, probably like 0.3 dollar. Sorry, it's 0.28. So you don't quote me very wrong, please. Let's look out for other areas of support around this chart. I'm also looking at this area here, which is 0.17. It did touch there a couple of times, and then this area here is another 0.14. But most likely, I expect that we should bounce from here. But even if there are chances that we go lower, we shouldn't go below these lows. That way, there are chances that we are going to put in new highs over here. Yeah, that's what I think for Dodge. What do you say? What the next person is? What do you say about Epic Chain? I did call Epic Chain at $0.7. If you follow me on this channel, you should be able to see that. But let's look out for the charts. $2.5. It's actually retracing a little bit, which is because I've been waiting for it to, because I wanted to add to my position. Let me look at it properly. I'm going to probably use 4 hours because the chart is not giving us a lot of data. Although this coin was rebranded, so that is why I personally think this particular data here is not enough for what we need. But like, let's just look at the chart with what we have here. So there's kind of like a support around this region here. Not so much, not so strong in terms of, because it hasn't tested there a couple of times, so I really can't detect. Well, this area here, I think is kind of like a support for it, and most likely a drop down here and the bounce upward would make a lot of sense. The next area of support I'm looking out for is this area here, where it did touch a couple of times, which is around $2. If I see it at $2, I would buy with my life. To be serious, to be sincere, I'm holding some position, but not as much as I actually wanted to hold, and I've been waiting for this dip to occur. So it dipped down to 2.3. I really pray it gets back to $2. To be sincere, I'm going to load up my bag so strong. I'm going to load my bag so bad because I've been waiting for it at that region. But the chances that will bounce off from here, there are chances, because we've been trading within this range for some time, and then finally we broke above it. We've been trading within this range for like August 5th to like I'll say from here, from like July 23rd, we really didn't break above it until finally we did break above it. So most likely it could retest here, this region here, and then it starts going back up. So we see something like this. Maybe it's a drawdown down to this area, then we start going back up. This might be the chances, but this is what I want. I want something like this. I want something like this. Then I want something like this to happen. I really want to add a lot of my positions at $2. But in case it doesn't happen, at $2.3, still like a very good region to add some of your positions if you really want to add. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say for this one. Just gonna leave this here. All right, let's go to the next. We've done 1 hour already. Check ENA. It's becoming scary at this point. Lots of questions already. Lots of questions. Where should I even start from? Okay, let's go with ENA. ENA. We're gonna go with weekly time frame. Let's see the chart very well. Okay, so I think chart is not so huge, so let's go with I personally think ENA is on the en route to go back to all-time high. Let me mark out the all-time high. This was the all-time high here. Chart is looking so good. Okay, this was, see the all-time high here. Oh, okay. Okay. So if you don't look very well, sometimes you make mistakes. All right. So looking at this chart here. Yeah, this huge up, this. So here's what I'm looking at. If you look here, I pretty much don't want to see ENA go below this low. That's going to spell doom for it. That's going to lead to more chances of going lower, which is somewhere around 0.61. So that's going to look like it's going to probably make this a higher low. I don't want it to look like a higher low. I just want it to look like a trend continuation upward. And then if it's not, then this is going to be a higher low, and then we already had a lower low, so we'll just get the bounce up again and continue lower until we do change character. So let me explain. Let me show you what I mean. So we've had this highs, lows, like this. We've been like this, which is an uptrend, right? And then we had this move down here. We did move up a little bit. Now, I don't want to see us go below this because that's going to signal change of character. And then we might most likely just put in a little highs here and then continue down, then keeps going down till we have another change of character, probably a highs or a lows, and then a lower low, lower highs, and then we'll start going up back again. So, and that's going to take so long for it to achieve that. So, because this is daily time frame, maybe like a month or something, but I think this region is not looking so good for ENA, and I would say I'm not going to be bidding at this price. I just want to see what's going to happen here. I want this to play out perfectly. At least let's see a highs above this, and then it will test down, and then we are going to continue upward. And that is when I would start looking for position to enter. But for here, I think it's not looking very good. One candle, two candles, 1, 2, 3 candles, trying to go lower. So, and then the moment it even breaks below this low, then it's actually the worst. So I really don't want that to happen for ENA. So let's see that. Let's hope that it starts going up from here in the coming days. But I'm not going to go in because that's going to be me gambling, not being sure of what I'm actually going into. So I'll just watch this play out perfectly and see what happens in the coming days. Look at me token. I've not said about me token. I mean, I've seen me a lot of times, but like, I don't know what. Let's see. Okay, let's put it on weekly and let's look at the chart. So it's been trading since 2023, 2022. Okay. This chart pretty much is still bearish at the moment. It's still bearish at the moment. If you look right here, so let me show you. This was when it was in an uptrend, and then we did break below this here. What happened? We went up, which was not higher than this. We did break below this one here, this lows here, and then we went up. This high was not even high. I wish this high was higher than this high here. Then that is when I would start becoming excited that we might put in. So let's say we had something like this. I'll be excited that we might put in a lower highs there, and then we'll continue going upward. But with what we have here is not looking very good, except there are a few things that can happen, and this is weekly time frame, so it's gonna it could take long to play out. So except we have something like this, we've gone up, and then this downward trend here, we don't go below these previous lows here, start going higher, at least above this, then most likely I would start thinking that we are going to be we are entering in an uptrend for this particular coin. But if it doesn't play out like that, then there are chances that if this go below this low, it's just not good for this coin. There are chances that it will just bounce a little, and then every bounce is going to be kind of like a dead cat. It's going to bounce, continue downward, and that's just not going to be. And this is weekly time frame. So let's hope that even the daily time frame, this chart here looks like lower lows and higher lows, lower lows, higher lows, lower lows, higher lows. So and if you still break here, see more problem for it because this highs there was not even higher. So if it breaks here, that's a lower low. We'll have a bounce up again, and then we'll continue going down. It's not looking very good to me. I'm not going to touch this coin personally. I have nothing against it, but I'm not going to touch it. Virtual. So I'm just going to be faster this time around. Virtual. So let me use MEXC for it. Virtual was one coin that performed really well last year. Okay. Okay, so what I'm seeing is if you're not able to, if you don't break below this low, which I think is a little bit more difficult for that to happen. I mean, it's going to take that's going to be bear market for that to happen. So I think we are going to go higher. We're probably going to go higher for this particular coin. We're probably going to go higher for this particular coin. I'm just trying to see where I think is possibly good regions to enter. It has broken 0.6 region. 0.76 region is around $0.911. So I'm just going to mark. I like to take trades from 0.6 fib region to 0.7. Those areas looks like the best entry point for me. So let's clean out everything and let's look at what we have here. If you look what we have here, it is currently at 0.6 region, which is kind of like a good entry point. So this region here, it's kind of like a very good entry point for me. From here down to 0.9, almost 0.88. Let's just call it $0.9. And then we are going to start pushing up from there. So I think this area here is a good entry point if you're trying to DC your position for virtual. This area is a very good entry point for it. So someone is saying Grayscale fight for AVAX ETF, which I think is going to take it higher. Next person is asking for Badi. This, I think this is on deck screen now. And I guess this is the one you're asking of, which volume looks really dead for now. The coin did run to 250K and then it's down to 10K. Okay, it's down to 10K. I mean, you can't be doing TA on this kind of coin because it takes one person to just throw in $10,000 on this coin and then push, it pumps to the up. So I really can't see much in terms of where this is going to go from here because there is not much data to look out for here. But and this is a meme coin, so I don't know. I do have a bag actually. I still have a bag because I bought, but like I didn't sell. I'm still holding, even though it's on loss, but like I'm still holding. So I don't know. It all depends on. I really can't say much about where it's gonna go for now because it's a meme coin and it's probably very low. Peak. Let's check out peak. PEAQ. Peak. I like to use MEXC, and the reason for using MEXC is because most coins get listed on MEXC. Man, the peak chart is terrible, but like this region is, I don't know. When a chart looks terrible like this, I just think it presents a lot of opportunities, especially if the tokenomics is very good and unlock schedule. Okay, so this region here acted like triple bottom. I think peak is very strong. There are chances we see pretty much good highs for peak. Just let me use the rectangle to represent it. For me, I think this chart is very good. It's very good because it's easier for me to cut my loss and not be on huge loss for this particular coin. And it bounced here, and I like the fact that this was higher than this highs here. I like this. We bounced here, so I'm probably going to guess we don't see this up to these lows here. If we're able to bounce here, that's going to be very good. That's going to be like a very good massive entry point. But let me use 4 hours. Let's look at it very well. So this is kind of like a little bit of correction after this huge run to the upside. Okay. We could bounce from like 0.066 region. We could bounce from here. Yeah. So I'm just gonna mark out this area here. I personally think this area here, and because it did act as support, although most times I don't trade support but like this is spot trading, not futures trading. So you're not really interested in those small arrow and the rest of that. Even though I'm just going to be looking at fair value gap and the rest of those stuff. But the rest of those stuff. But personally think we could bounce. Okay, so there are two scenarios. We do touch this area here. We do touch this area here, and then we'll bounce from here upward. Then this is going to be a smooth bullish. So first, if I'm looking for long-term hold on spot, not on futures, so don't get me wrong because futures, the leverage you use, every move is very important. Now, if I'm looking to add for long-term for a peak, I most likely will be adding some position here and then this area here. down to this area. So this is my first area, 0.6. And then this year, because of this is actually a fair value gap, and this here is another block. So it's the last red candle before it started going up. So this is another block right here. So there are chances that it even go lower to test this other block or enter inside the other block before it continues higher. For those trading futures, in case you want to take it long, I would probably target this other block area here. And the reason is it's not very clear in terms of other block, but I could just target these lows, and then if I get taken out, then that's it. But if I want to be a lot more conservative, I could try to target below these lows there, which is going to be like a minus 12% drawdown. So if you're using, let's say, an 8x leverage, this is going to work perfectly. I might most likely place this trade and hold it longer, because the reason I'm looking at this is for holding it longer, not for any particular thing at all. If I want to hold it longer, I could target this first highs here or target these highs. If I want to hold it for bull market, then I most likely would target even more, maybe these highs at this area here, which is a lot of upside. I think Peakison is close to a very good area to actually DCA my position. This is going to be very good if it does happen. I hope, let's see what happens in the coming weeks. If it does play out, that would be very, very good. But I would like to see, I'm going to see let me check out their, because I did meet team members for Peak. I did meet them when I was in Zanzibar, that's in Tanzania. I did meet some of their team members. Even though I'm not holding their coin. All-time high, let me go back and see their all-time high. All-time high is pretty much very, very far. Do you really think all-time high is going to happen again? I personally cannot tell you it's going to happen. 0.7. Market cap 76, FDV 290, 298. So we need to see, this is some of the problem with some of these coins, because barely 20% of it is trading. 20% of it is trading, which is the problem, and that's why I sometimes do not buy them. And we can't see, because most times we have to look out for, okay, for this kind of coin, what is what's it called? What's the tokenomics like? When are they having the next unlock schedule? Because that's going to impact if this coin is going to go lower or higher. If there is no unlock schedule in the coming weeks or in the coming months, then this could be a very good entry point for this particular coin. But I can't see that data yet, except let me check Tokenomics. Where's that website I used to? Yeah, this is the website. Let's see if we can get Tokenomics for Peak, because I'm interested now in the coin. Now someone asked me about it. I'm interested. So let's see. Let me search for the token PAQ. Okay. So let's see if there is an unlock schedule in the coming days for Peak. So there's an unlock going to happen in the next 17 days. Damn. 12th of September. Who are they releasing it for? I need to sign in before I can. Let me sign in. Sorry guys, I need to do this because I need to be factual with what I'm saying, so I don't make statements that are not factual. So let me sign in, and once I sign in, then I'm going to show you guys the screen again. Okay, so I can share my screen back again. So I guess you guys can see my screen. So let's look at it. So investors are looking good. $4.4 million. Core contributors 1.6 million. Okay, so let's look at and after that, the next unlock is going to be when? So it's kind of like every month they're releasing about close to $5 million every single month. I need to pay for Pro before I can see the next month. This is bad for you guys now. So with what I'm seeing here, June 12th, they released 5.6. This is not looking good for this coin. It's not looking good. I'm probably not touching it. If I want to touch it, just probably for. So it seems like every 12th of, because I can't see the next month, I have to pay for this thing for this coin. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay for the Pro. But they're releasing every 12th of every month. They're releasing about $5 million. Who is selling? Those people are going to be selling. That's why the chart looks terrible like this. That's why the chart looks like this. If you look at June to this time, and the truth of the matter is, most of the investors might not be dumping at these prices because they are very, very low. So if they start seeing high prices, they're going to be suppressing the prices with a lot of dump. I'm probably not going to touch it. Yeah, so I hope I did justice to that. What is the next question? Man, there are a lot of questions here. What about Mars Beer? I'm tired of checking some of these meme coins on Solana. I'm just going to leave that out. What time frame do you use to pick your entry? Depending on the kind of coin, depending on my trades plan for that particular trade. Sometimes I look out for, you can see most of the time I was looking at the full overview of the coin from weekly time frame or monthly, depending, and then scale down to daily. But most times, if I want to just want to trade futures, I go to daily time frame. Daily, I scale down to 1 hour, 1 hour to like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something, then scale down to 5 minutes, like that, till I get the best entry point for coins to. I get the best entry point. What do you think about Peppercoin? I mean, it's cool. It's kind of like, it was kind of a leader last year and last 2 years. So I personally think it's going to do well in this bull market. It's still going to move in this bull market. That's one thing I know. Okay. What do you think about Bao? I did mention that I don't like. I hope it bounces from that region, because if it doesn't bounce, then that is going to spell doom for them right here. Yeah, and it's not bouncing yet. Let's just hope it doesn't go below that. If it do go below that, then that's going to be very, very terrible for them. I still would Bao, but I don't want to see it go below that region, and that's the region it's sitting at right now. Did you change your prediction on 69? I didn't make any prediction for it. I didn't. What do you think about Fatcoin? Still one popular meme coin most persons are going to buy in this bull market. XRP, I did talk about XRP in the beginning of this video, so you might want to check it out. Trump coin, yeah, let's see Trump coin. How long have we been on this stream? 1 hour 23 minutes. That's a lot. But let's look at Trump coin. I'm going to use MEXC because, man, Trump coin is just flat down. I don't think anything at this point, to be sincere. I don't think anything at this point. But this is a good entry if you want to buy, actually. But I don't know. I don't think anything, to be sincere. Check Bio. So Bio, I've talked about Bio a few times on my channel as the leader of DeSci. I'm just going to look out for their MEXC pair, because that's going to give me a better overview. So Bio recently has been pumping crazily. It did have this huge move from 0.05 up to 0.3, which is a 475% move. It's kind of like, this is pretty much an uptrend, because this area here, this long area here, looks like a period of accumulation. So it's just within this particular range, and it didn't move up, just go up a little, just respected this range for a very long time. So I mean, I'm happy for them to see their coin doing this good. So it's kind of like printing chance. It's kind of like printing up trend, high is low, and then this is probably the next high, then probably like a low, and then we continue upward. So I think it's gonna be a good one for bio, but I'll probably not enter at this price. I'll probably not enter at this price. I would want to see slight retracement, because if you look, let's look out for this. Let's look out for this move here, down to this move here. It did touch 0.5 region and it bounced. Okay, so for this one, you're going to work with 0.5 to 0.6 region. Just gonna pull from this down to this upside. It might also not come down to this region, so you just have to take note of that. But let's look at 0.5 to 0.6 region, so which is around this area here. So I think it did touch this area, which is around $0.29, 0.20971. So an entry right here will be good for it, and then a retracement if we do get down to like 0.1, 0.18, still very good entry. That's because it have expected 0.5. So an entry between 0.5 to 0.6 region looks very fair for bio. What do you think for XRP? XRP is going to do high. It's going to go higher. Clippy, I'm just going to check Clippy out. Clippy is down 11 million. Are you serious? Wow. Okay. You can see I did have an area where I was trying to not see Clippy go down to, but it seems it has broken that. So this look pretty much a downtrend, although this is the new chart, so not a lot of data here. Not a lot of data here. I hope he's able to stay above, at least probably like the best entry is going to be around 8.39 million if you're looking to get into Clippy. I'm not holding it. I do like the meme coins, very funny. It's not very funny, it's viral and it appeals to a lot of persons, but like chart is not looking good. We didn't even break these highs above here, which was the first area to be scared of. We didn't break above these highs, so we had this run, retrace, run, and then retrace, and then we didn't break. If you broke this high, then there were chances that we would go higher, but like we didn't break it. Instead, we created a lower low here, and then this highs was not even as high as possible. So created a higher low, and then now this look pretty much like a lower low. If you look at this very well, this look pretty much like a low. It has taken out these lows right here. So the chart at the moment is still like in a downtrend. So what am I looking at for? It could just continue doing something like this, go up, come down, and then till it finally bottoms. Or there are chances that it does something like this. Why it's here, it came down here, from the support. Let's say it goes up, come back to this region, then I might be considering looking at, because this is meme coin obviously, and like even though there are chances that it's going to clear liquidity and all of that, but let's say we're experiencing like a triple bottom, then I might be looking to buy at this area here at 1.11.76. But like at the moment the chart looks bearish, so we might see a bounce to the upside, down, then probably like experience that double bottom, or come back here to experience that double bottom before we start heading back up. So best entry is going to be around 8.3 million, but anything I see here, depending on what I see here, will tell me if I should enter within this region. But the drawdown from here to 8.3 million is barely 20, just call it 29% from here. So if you want to DCA, you could actually start looking at these areas to DCA your position. And let me also okay. So you might start looking at these areas to DCA your position. So I don't know, but like, let's see what happens in the coming days for Clippy. How can you build wealth trading crypto? I mean, this is a very long concept to talk about, so we'll probably talk about it next time. Spark and XPX 6900. I talked about Clippy already. I've talked about XPX. Spark. Spark did run to 50 million, but I don't know where Spark is. Spark is down to 80 million. What? God have mercy. Okay, so the chart is already telling me some things here. I'm just gonna pull this to the upside. So we did bounce perfectly well at 0.7 Fibonacci region. So what am I expecting? Currently we are sitting at a very strong support actually for Spark. This is a very strong support for Spark. So we want to see a bounce off from this region and not break below this, because if it does break below these lows here, this lows over here, this low here, which is around 12 million, then that is not going to be good, because we would most likely, if that happens, first of all, this high is lower than this high, so this is a higher low. So if it does have break below this, then that's going to be pretty much not good, because we might most likely just see a bounce up, continue downward, which is not going to be very good. So I want to see that Spark is able to hold this region and then starts going, because this here is actually the 0.7 Fib region. So we want to see it start going up from here, and that will be good. So let's see if it does have this W shape, up, yeah, then this, then continue upward. So this probably looks like a very good entry point. This area here is probably a good entry point for Spark. I'm not holding anyone actually, but I was tracking it. That's why I was able to tell you that it was at 50 million, because I was tracking it at some point. So yeah, that's it about Spark. Next, smoking chicken fish. Looks like it's dead. I don't know what's wrong with SCF. Looks like 4 million. Damn. Oh my goodness. Lying flat, dead. But like, this is kind of like an accumulation. This is kind of like looking flat, dead, but there's nothing I can do on the chart here. If you look very well, there's nothing I can do on the chart here. So we can just have maybe attention just start flowing back into it, and then we'll have a pump. We'll have a pump. Seriously, there is nothing I can do with respect to just have a pump that starts going back up. But if not, there is basically nothing on this chart here that tells me where this thing is going back to, except I have to start zooming on these things, and then not a lot of data you can find here. And I think this is a very good entry for it, down to 3.4 million. I think that's going to be a very good entry. If I want to buy, I would probably just be buying at these prices. I'm not holding anyone anyways. I did sell all of my smoking chicken fish back then. Are they still active? So they posted 17th of August. Today is 25th. They're tired. They've made a lot of money actually. So I mean, why would you want to be posting? You know, for a coin to go as high as 164 million, the team would most likely have made $2 to $5 million, depending on where they listed the coin. I'm just this is not factual, but because when you look at charts that are so bad like this, it's not just normal me and you that are selling it. Sometimes it's also exchanges. It's listed on mexige.io. Let's see which other exchange is listed on. CoinX, does LBank, Swissborg. So you can buy the Swissborg. That's very good. So let me just check it out here. Volume 600K, even with all of the exchanges. Mexige.io, LBank, xt.com, CoinX, AscendX. It's not getting xt.com is even where it's getting most of the views. The rest of them looks pretty much dead. I don't know, considering that people don't give attention to meme coins, but there are chances that this just blows up again. We really can't tell. That's just the truth. Except you're part of the team members or you have insider information. I don't have anyone. If you're part of the team members, please give me insider information. I would like to buy a 4 million, please. Thank you. All right. Talk about Billy. Billy is another one that looks very much dead. Billy, I don't think Billy is going to come back. I just think Billy is dead. He's dead. Billy is at 3.8 million. My goodness. But liquidity looks very good. I like the liquidity. $1.3 million liquidity. Wow, that's good. Billy has been flat down. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. It could still pop up. That's the funniest thing. They did tweet on the 23rd, 17th. They're still tweeting, but like, that's not all you're going to look at for in a meme coin. This is a very long time over. I mean, someone can buy this coin and it pumps again, and then next you just see it at $40-80 million, and then you're like, because let's look at Aura for instance. Let me show you Aura. That Aura chart was insane for a very long time. It's crazy nobody's buying it again. It's crazy. Look at Aura. Aura was flat dead, like most of these coins I've been showing you now, and then push will have this huge pump to this upside. So this looks like it had double top here. Okay, chart is not looking very good. People are not really interested in Aura, but like you can see after this huge downtrend when nobody was talking about it, and then it did pump like this. So, but you just have to be an insider for it to know that's going to happen. You just have to be an insider. Solana is good. I think Solana could most likely get to $400 in this bull market. Not this year, this bull market. That's my conservative target for Solana, 400 to 450, maybe a $500. Talk about OCI cat. Are you? Let's see. Is at 5 million. Oh, okay. Huge red candle. It's a BNB coin. The chart is looking good actually. I'm gonna reduce. Chart is looking good. So let's just see it go above this size first. Then I think it's good. It's looking good. I don't know. These coins used to have a lot of tax, 5% tax. The dev guys are making money actually. Imagine 5%. On this, they've probably made. I don't want to be counting someone's money, but like, yeah, I think the chart looks good. It looks good at the moment, so their chances is good. It goes higher. But if you're trying to buy in, I don't think this is a good entry point for OCI cat. I mean, you want to wait for some lows. This is like the top. I wouldn't advise you to buy at the top. Please, the website you use for the tokenomics. The website is tokenomics.ai. Tokenomics. Look at it here. Token, then nomist. Token, tokenomist.ai. That's the website. Okay. Please make a check on Clancar. Okay, I've seen Clancar a couple of times. Clancar. Wow. So look at example of what I'm saying about some of these meme coins I just showed you guys. You can see nothing, flat dead for a very long time. This is since 2024 down to August of 2025, flat dead, and then all of a sudden pumped. So now there's attention on the coin. There is attention on the coin now. So you just have to okay. Okay. As much as it doesn't break below 6 million, I think it's still good. Although this year it's kind of like putting, but even if it stays above $6 million, then I think it's good. still good for more upside. If not, then it could look like retracement has started. So you don't want to see, because it's kind of in a tight corner for it. After this pump here, we did the retracement. This was a lower high. It wasn't higher than this. And then we add a lower low here. And then here, which is also lower. So we want to see it break above this. If it doesn't, then there are chances that we might see lower lows here, and that's going to bring us below 6 million, which is going to continue downward until there's kind of like a change of character, and then we continue back up. So just have to watch it closely. The moment it closes below this area here, because this is kind of like the superstructure low before this huge high. So anything here is kind of like within the range. I don't want to say it break below this low, because once it breaks below this low, then signals that we are going to go, this is going to go lower. So that's just what I think about it. All right. Let me talk about, everyone has been asking me about Wikicat, but I did make a video about Wikicat, which is coming soon this week. Wikicat, let's look at it. 100 million, and it's actually better than most of the coins recently, because I mean, market is not looking good, but like it's still above 100 million after a huge run. I mean, kudos to Sam Mappy, who is, if you look at this chart also, what you're going to also notice is a very long time from 2020. This one was 2023. It was flat down, and then all of a sudden it started pumping. So for coins where you can't see data as to if there is support and resistance of some of these regions, you just have to be patient with them, or you just sell off and move on. Because most of the chart, it tells you nothing happened. This was a long period of accumulation. All of a sudden, it starts pumping instantly. So when you don't see a lot of information as to where a coin is going to, I just think the ball is in your court on whether to hold longer or something. But like, I'm looking at, let's talk about Wikicat. Wikicat holding very strong around 106 million. Looking very good. Because there are not a lot of sell pressure. That's one thing I like about the coin. On a daily basis, people do not, except for this day, which was normal for there to be this sell pressure. With this day when it got to $262 million, it was normal, because I mean, imagine buying this coin at 14 million and then it ran to 260 million. Even you will take profit. Even you will take profit. So this downtrend there, I think, is a healthy one. It's quite a healthy one, if you ask me. It's a healthy one. And then it's been holding pretty much strong within this area here. So we might see something like this going back up here, going back up from here. Or maybe it just stays within this range for some time, and then it starts going back up. Your chances it goes back up. I mean, I like the CEO. We've talked, I don't know if we've talked, but like, we do follow ourselves on Twitter. So kudos to him. If he's watching this, I want to tell him congratulations. He has done so well. He has made Nigeria so proud. And we're proud of what he's actually doing with Wikicat. Yeah. That's it. That's what I'm going to say about it. Please check Solana price. I want a good long-term target, targeting $300, which is an SL at $100. Can you suggest the best entry for me? I mean, I wouldn't do that, but let's see. Let's see Solana. I don't know which exchange you're using, but I'm going to use Bybit. So we did break above these highs. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to say is an entry between this area here, 180 to 176 looks like a good entry point for Solana. And the reason for that is, I mean, there are still chances we could go 156. That is, if next month is very, very red, there are chances we could touch this area. But for now, the chart is still in an uptrend in terms of this area. But like overall, this is, if you want to do overall, then we're still down. But like I'm looking at from this area here. This is pretty much highs, low, and so this low is higher than this, and then we had this move, this, and then this which is also higher. So we could, there are chances that we don't go below these lows over here, or maybe even this low. Let me take it to this low. The chances we don't go below this low. That is if next month is everything is or is dependent, because we can only guess. We can't tell you that this is how it's going to look like for sure. So I would say an entry point from 176 is actually good. That is in case it comes down here, then we'll have this here, and then this kind of like look like a triple bottom, and which is going to send it even way higher than this $213. On the contrary, you can still enter within this range, and then it comes down to even up to this area here, which is $150, which I presume is like the best entry. So how am I going to play this game? Since you want to hold it for long term and you want to have, I mean, having your stop loss at $100, the risk to reward is not very great, but that's still fine, depending on the size you're entering. Depending on the size you're entering. I'm not trying to make you feel like this is gonna be the ultimate of where it's gonna go to. No, I can't do that for now. I really can't tell you that's gonna be how it's gonna look like. But an entry point here is gonna be fine. But we might just see something like this. Then we start bouncing off from here. So I'll probably say you should have an entry point below let's say $180 or thereabout. I don't know. I could be wrong, and then we could still come down to 176. But like an entry point around $180 will be very, very fine for you. But emphasis on you have to add more position if it gets to 176 and 156 and 157 or thereabouts. That's the emphasis. And then you could hold for longer term. That's what I can say. D-mail, I don't know. This looks like where's what the hell is D-mail? I don't know if he's dead or still alive. Well, let's check. D-mail chart is not looking good. It is not looking good. It is not looking good. All-time low. I mean, I'm not gonna touch this. Never touching something like this, because there's no chances that I don't know. Are they even tweeting? Let me even check. Are they even tweeting? I know D-mail. They once did one rubbish airdrop like that. That didn't go so well. Let's see. With all this huge following, they'll just use bots to fill their entire page, and then okay, they tweeted on the 22nd of August, 21st. So they're still tweeting. They have money. They've made money now, so obviously they should be tweeting. But like, chart doesn't look good. There's nothing here that suggests that this is a good entry point or something. But you can still buy, and just in case it goes lower, you sell and then take your loss and move on. But like, chart doesn't look good. This is a steady downtrend. Every pump here is gonna lead it to go lower. So I'm not just gonna touch it, except you have a pump that's gonna pump really massively. That is if the team decides to inject capital into this particular coin. So I think we are gonna call it a wrap. I buy at 49 million and take profit at 200 million at week. Exactly. So everyone is obviously going to take profit, and that's why someone was telling me this thing crashed, I was like, what do you mean by crashed? Like, it is evident that it was going to drop. It is evident. There's nothing that goes up forever. Even Bitcoin does not go up forever. People that bought early are always going to take profit. So you have to factor that in when you're holding a coin, and it applies to every coin. I'm going to tell you that for every single coin, you have to factor all of that in, if you want to get it right. So this is all of it about the live for today. Thank you so much for joining our live. I'm trying to look at the coming. Just a second. Okay. So it seems like most persons watching us are on Twitter actually than any other place, which is fine. Thank you, Twitter guys, for always watching us. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to see you in our next live. Bye.